another day, another meme, I guess. Except that it isn't funny. I do understand where these people are coming from. I mean, these progressives, they view these movies as the gospel. They're supposed to spread the message. So when people reject the message and they don't like the movie, they act the same like a priest seeing a person rejecting the Bible. Literally the same emotional reaction. And they try to cope. They really do. Which is why it's hilarious. But let's tackle this particular argument, shall we? So, as I mentioned before, what works in one movie doesn't necessarily work in another. You can't just take one scene and say, well, if this scene worked in The Matrix, like you had bullet time and it was great, then it's going to work in every other movie. If you look at The Terminator, Come With Me If You Want to Live, that scene can work in that franchise, but in another franchise, it can be viewed as cringe. So you can't just like compare scenes by scenes. You have to take the movie as a whole. So you have this scene with drunk Tony Stark peeing in his suit as a party trick. Well, this goes in line with the character of Tony Stark, and the character is very important. We're going to talk about it in a bit, but when Stan Lee created Tony Stark, he did something that no one thought it would be possible. It's like creating today a racist Nazi superhero. Like, can you imagine that? No, seriously, just imagine that. Can you create a racist Nazi superhero today and make him believable? Probably not. Although a racist superhero would be interesting. Like, think about it. Let's say he had like a traumatic event in his childhood, made him a racist, and then there's a burning building. And there are people of color inside, and he's a superhero. He has to rescue them, but he's now conflicted. Like, there's a lot of emotions going in his mind. And you can have an entire character growth based on that. It would make for a very interesting story. Of course, it would get canceled before it even gets out. But like what I'm saying is that this is a parallel to Tony Stark. Why? Because if you look at the time when Tony Stark was created as a superhero, people were really against the rich, arms manufacturers, drunk people, right? Which Tony Stark is all of them. Like, he is a superhero that's an arms manufacturer, has an alcohol problem, is very arrogant, cocky, oozes with toxic masculinity, right? And despite all of these flaws, like, which Stan Lee specifically added, like, he wanted to know, like, what does culture at his time period hates the most, and he created a superhero with all of those flaws. So, and despite all of that, it works, right? So this is what Tony Stark's character is. He is the type of person that would pee in his suit as a party trick. Because he's a billionaire. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what other people think of him, right? In contrast with She-Hulk, who cares a lot what other people think of her. Like, in the first episode, we are told that she doesn't like the fact that people don't take her seriously because she's a woman. Like, she is completely obsessed with how society views her. So, the character doesn't fit. It fits for Tony, who doesn't give a fuck, doesn't fit for She-Hulk. Now, we got to Star-Lord dancing to save the universe. Same thing, Star-Lord doesn't really care how other people view him. And then it's the scene itself, which, by the way, I didn't find it that great. But the rest of the movie was spot on, to the point where this particular scene didn't bother me that much. If Star-Lord would have done a sexual dance, if Star-Lord would have started stripping, pole dancing, pulled down his pants and did the helicopter, right? Like, this scene would have been just as cringe. But the dance that he did was the type of dance that your father would do. It wasn't, out of the ordinary. It didn't try to sexualize the character or anything like that. So, this is why most people do not complain about it. But, I do agree. It is a little bit cringe. Hulk showing his bare ass. This again goes with the character of the Hulk. He is treated as a savage monster. Why would he care about his ass being revealed? Also, it goes with the joke that is on the internet that, like, why are Hulk's pants so resistant when he transforms? And that is why he is showing his bare ass. It completes the character. Like, he is so wild, he is so savage, he just doesn't care. You can't make the same argument for She-Hulk, right? Like, her character is that she needs to be respected. And then you have Captain America completely complimenting his ass in the middle of a mission. This literally is like for 3 seconds. I mean, and again, this scene was advertised. Like, this scene was in the papers. It was supposed to be like a groundbreaking thing. Now, if in the papers you would have like Captain America complimenting his ass, people would have probably hated just as much because it's fucking cringe. But like when it's a one-liner, which you blink and you miss it, no one cares. Zemo dancing after getting out of jail. Again, couple of seconds. If you want a comparison with how cringe this is, you can compare it with the Spider-Man dance from, I believe, the third movie. Right? Like, that was also cringe. So, it really depends how the movie comes together. It really depends the other scenes and the character you're trying to portray. She-Hulk is a really bad TV show because they try to say that she's a good lawyer. They try to say that she wants to be respected, but we never get to see that. I mean, if you look at Better Call Saul, you know that he is a good lawyer because you actually see him in court defending his clients. So, in Better Call Saul, if you remove all the lines where Saul or other people call him a really good lawyer, you still know he's a good lawyer because you see that happening. With She-Hulk, you never get to see her actually doing something smart in court. Because the writers are dumb. They don't know how to write smart characters, right? Like, it's kind of like a smart person would know how to roleplay as a barbarian, but a dumb person wouldn't know how to roleplay as an intelligent wizard. And it's the same with writing for characters. Like, a dumb person or a person that lacks social skills would not know why She-Hulk doing this is a bad thing, because she wants to be viewed as a professional, yet she is twerk dancing. And there's another thing here, by the way. If you go to law school, and you actually want to be good at law school, and you actually study, you don't have time to go out clubbing. You just don't. Like, it's impossible. Most of your time is spent reading the books. You have very little time for fun or any other activity. The fact that She-Hulk knows how to party is very questionable. It means that she was probably getting mediocre grades. Like, someone who wouldn't have partied and would have stayed and just studied nonstop wouldn't have been able to do this. And by the way, this is something that exists in my country. I think it may be in the United States as well. But if you're a judge or you're a public person, your image is actually important. So you shouldn't be seen getting wasted, drinking, going out clubbing and twerking. Like, this is what the people who do not have prestigious jobs do. Which is fine, like, here's the thing. You get a lot of privileges for being a judge or being a lawyer. Like, you get a lot of respect, you get a lot of people that look at you with admiration. But with privileges come responsibilities, and responsibilities come with the way you conduct yourself. Right? You don't pick your nose in public, you don't stick your tongue out in public between two fingers and do the la 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 la. You don't do this type of dance if you want the prestige, if you want people to respect you. But if you don't respect yourself, well, why do you expect other people to? And this is pretty much what society is telling. And this is why you have this meme, because the people who made this meme are livid that society does not conform to their standards, right? Because they would want their standards to be what influences society. They would want this to be glorified. Shaking your ass should be the peak of human achievement. And being a good lawyer and being professional should be discarded. But unfortunately, people in society do not think this way. This is how people in society think. And they're upset. So I hope I did a good job at explaining. And I will see you guys in the comment section. And as usual, if you like this channel, there is a pinned link in the comment, which will take you to my subscribe star. And I would very much appreciate if you guys were to support this channel over there. Take care.